This is a 1950s Briggs Stratton Model N, and technically it runs, but barely. It sputters and smokes, and today we're going to be doing a complete teardown of this engine and see if we can get this 70-year-old workhorse running again. My name is Marcus, and welcome to EngineCraft Garage. This Briggs Model N was a workhorse in the 50s. It's got a flat top piston, it's all cast iron, splash lubricated. It was basically built to run forever, as long as you didn't leave it for 40 years. So today we're going to be doing the complete teardown of this. This has approximately about 2 horsepower. These were used heavily in the 50s on garden tractors and basically any kind of implement you can imagine in the 50s. These things were built to last. So the first thing we're going to do is do a baseline of the compression, break down the top end, go through the valves, split the case to see if there's anything going on internally, and hopefully it'll run like new. Well, since I know this engine runs, that means we at least have some spark and some compression. Now these engines, when they're running really good, their compression reading is usually around 90 psi, and that's considered good for these engines. Let's get the spark plug out. It's a little dirty. Not too bad. Take this oil bath filter off. There is some oil in it. And inside should just be a little steel element. Yeah. It's good to clean those out every once in a while. Now the first place I want to start here is probably taking this carburetor off. This is an updraft carburetor, meaning the airflow runs down this way and pulls the air up into the engine. Got a tie plate on here. Hold these two together. The carb should just come right out. There we go. Looks like it's leaking a bit of fuel. Doesn't look too bad. Put this in the ultrasonic, but we'll dig into this later. I want to dig into the top end first. Let's get this intake off. And I kind of like to put bolts back where they came from so I don't mix them up. All right, next is get this intake off. Well, that's kind of loose. The only thing I don't know if I'm going to be able to get off is its exhaust because it is highly rusted. So one thing I don't know about this engine is I don't know if I should paint it or keep it as is. There's a governor linkage right here. All right, next I want to try to get this flywheel cover off. Oh man, this thing's heavy. You guys let me know down in the comments on what you would do. Paint it or keep it with its patina on there. I'm kind of leaning more towards keeping it with its original patina. This one might be a pain to break free. Oh, I grab a tool for that. If you guys don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. It's an impact driver, impact screwdriver. You basically put it on there, you smack the top, and it'll apply a pressure down and twist at the same time. It's really, really handy for rusted bolts. So I'm going to be pretty gentle with this one. There we go. It's free. Like I said, they work. This tool works extremely well for rusted bolts. Take this cover off. All this does, this strap here, is when you touch it to the spark plug, it grounds it out and kills the engine. So that's your kill switch. All right, now we got some more cover bolts here. Side. There we go. Wow. So here is our flywheel. Really old coil. I'm going to be extremely gentle with this because these are probably hard to find. Or they might not be. I don't know. All right, we got all that tore off. Let's start seeing if we can get into this top end here. All right, this is going to be ½ inch. Surprisingly not as stuck as I thought they would be. That one is. All right, now I'm going to use the drill to zip them out the rest of the way. Gentle with this plate. This is the original plate on there. It has a lot of good information on this plate. The model number, which is 702052, and the serial number is 13885. Tells you the engine oiling instructions, oil bath air cleaner, the intake cold and exhaust cold, and it also gives you the spark plug gap. Really helpful information. Now you can see this thing probably wasn't cooling all that well. It is chocked full of stuff. Wow. Go ahead. Guess it is a little stuck. There we go. Oh, wow. That is a lot of carbon on there. There's just so much carbon on here. If we can get a look at the cylinder walls. I mean, they're smooth. It's super smooth, but there is absolutely zero cross-hatching left. This is where we can see our valves moving. Feels like I'm connected to a spring. Well, maybe not. So this bolts all the way through. There's a plate on here. The valve clearances are a little on the high side, but that shouldn't, I mean, they're still not too far off. Should be a little bit tighter though. But what I'm thinking is, with all this crud that's up here, if we lap these in, that could bring it down just a little bit and help out. So I am no expert on these engines, and some of you may see me make mistakes, but I am learning. And these valves were not easy to get out, and I'll show you exactly why that is. So what was happening is the valve sits like this, and it wasn't going back up because of those grooves in here. So I had to keep forcing it up and then tapping on the valve to try to get it to push out like that. Because if you see, that pin is hidden underneath this lip. So unless you get this pushed up, you can't get that pin out. So the next thing I want to do is get these valves cleaned up. So we're going to just take a little bit of 400 grit, spray some PB blaster on them. And the best way to tell if your valves are bent or not is put them in a drill, spin them, and that will tell you pretty quickly. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. This is our exhaust valve. Got a little suction cup tool here and just a little bit of valve lapping compound. Just work it back and forth. Always make sure to pick it up every once in a while just to spread that valve lapping compound around. All right, I think we're good on this one. Now I'm going to do the intake valve, and then we should be all set with the valves. Oh, and if you didn't know, I did do a light sanding on top of here just to get this surface nice and flat. So actually, we're going to leave this flywheel alone right now because I just put an electric impact, a plug-in impact, and an air impact on this, and it is not budging. And rather than risking breaking something in here, we're just going to leave that be for the time being. I know we got spark. It probably could be better, but we're going to leave that be for right now. The next thing we have to do, I said split the case earlier, and when I didn't mean it like off the side like a typical engine. This one has the oil sumped on the bottom. So how we're going to do that is there's 2 bolts, and this whole bottom piece actually comes right out. And then we can get a look at all the internals and stuff like that. Ooh, it's pretty dark. That is some heavy-duty stuff in there. All right. See what we got at the bottom of here. Yeah, it's pretty sludgy. All right, I got this cleaned up. All the sludge is out of there. It looks pretty good. All right, that's over. Now we just got to come in here and get these bolts out. All right, here's the whole piece. Let's get a look at the bearing. Just got a little bit of wear. Nothing that my fingernail can catch on, but it is a little rough. But I mean, that's 70 years of use. All right, let's see if we can get this piston out. There we go. There's the piston. A little bit of scoring on it. Looks pretty good. So, still got pretty, really sharp edges. Shocked by that. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is spray these stones down. So I'm doing this more or less just to deglaze the cylinder essentially, because I'm not putting new piston rings in. So this should increase compression a little bit. Looks like we got some cross hatching back into it. Just a helpful tip that I learned from an old guy that used to rebuild engines. Instead of buying like that assembly lube stuff, just use some bar and chain oil. It's $8 a quart, and the tackiness allows the oil to stay in places, so first time running it you don't get a dry start. It's essentially why you use assembly lube. But assembly lube is very expensive. Well, in my mind it's very expensive when you can get bar and chain oil for cheap, and it sticks really well. And no, I don't have a ring compressor, so I'm doing it a barbaric way, but I've done this many times and it's worked fine. This is 100 inch-pounds, which is the lowest this torque wrench actually goes to. So let's get that on there. It's 100. All right, we're at 100 inch-pounds for that. I moved this over to this table. This is way cleaner than that other table. I don't want to get a bunch of stuff in here unnecessarily. Here is the bottom of our case. Now I'm going to go ahead and pre-fill this. What I'm going to be using, since this is a very loose tolerance machine, is this heavy-duty diesel oil, 5W40. This stuff should run pretty good in this engine. These head bolts are 150 inch-pounds. All right, I've got a temporary fuel system hooked up, and we're gonna see if this thing will run. Come on. Oh, signs of life. Come on, come on, come on. Woo! Well, it runs pretty decent. I think I just need to play with the carb a little bit more, but it seems like it was running pretty good. Thank you for stopping by and wrenching with me. Let me know down in the comments what I should do with this thing. Should I repaint it? Should I just keep it patina as it is? I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet. Also, let me know what you think I should put on. A go-kart, mini bike, something like that. I want to do something with this engine, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. I come out with videos every Friday. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.